At this time, I'm Commissioner MULDROW. The next voice we'll hear is from the head, the chief, the commissioner of the police here in the city of York. He's my friend, he's one of my mentors. I've actually known him since I was just a kid, and I'm pretty sure he'll tell you guys that I'm his president, but I have no ambition in politics. But please help me welcome Commissioner MULDROW.
So first and foremost, let me bring this down a little bit because I'm short. It's funny, before I get into what I wanted to say today, it's funny to be here right now, to be on this stage, and me and Miss Steph were talking a second ago about the other people that need to be in a room like this and witness an event like this and hear stories like this. And as I was sitting there and we were having that conversation, I found it funny because if anybody knows anything about law enforcement, one of the first things when you're going through the testing process, and Judge Morgan can attest to this, one of the first questions you're asked is, do you associate with known felons? And I've always gotten a little bit of a smile on my face when I answer that part of the test, when I answer that question, because of the dad that I had, the man that led me to law enforcement and showed me how to do it, who used to always say, absolutely. I'm proud of the fact that I associate with known felons. I'm proud of the fact that I associate with anybody and everybody, because that's what allows me to be the man that God calls me to be. So, regardless of your record or your resume or your reason for being here today, what I want everyone to be able to walk away from this moment with is the fact that everybody in this room has at least one thing in common. None of us is perfect. We all make mistakes. I know good people with records, and I know bad people with great titles. As a society, as the situationally judgmental people we can often be. Note, I say situationally judgmental because in my 20 plus years of wearing this badge, I've learned everyone wants people strung up and held accountable to the fullest until the situation involves someone that we love or care about. Then we know grace. Then we know mercy. Then we want to give second chances. See, collectively, we have to push ourselves to remember, one bad chapter doesn't make the whole book bad. We got to stop being so quick to put people back on the shelf, because we're wasting a lot of talent, missing a lot of opportunities, throwing away a lot of good ideas that way. I contend at this point, guys like Tavon, Brother Queen, Casper, and Big John Ayers have positively impacted 2 or 3 times the number of people that they've never negatively affected in their lives. But you gotta get to know them to see it. You gotta hear their stories. And to do that, we have to be willing to open doors for them, open our hearts to them. And why is that good business for people of position? Because opportunity increases the odds of people not falling back into bad decision making. And more practically, because I had a guy like Javon, Boo-Boo DeShields in school. I know that he's more than what he did when he got in trouble. I know how influential he is. And the same thing that makes a guy like him, a guy like you, influential on the street, can influence people to get off the street. Because I've watched a guy like Javon Matthews, without a badge, without a gun, without a vest, put his life on the line in the middle of an armed robbery just to save somebody he didn't know. But if all you know about a person is an affidavit, an inmate number, their offense gravity score, and that negative headline that you read in the paper, of course you're going to think they're monsters that society needs to be protected from forever. That's why my focus has always been tempering authority and response with relationship and reason. Because I understand the adversarial system, as it's referred to in our textbook, doesn't have to be so adversarial. And that's what gives me hope. That's what allows me to stand up here as a proud part of this system and still walk the streets wherever I want to go, with or without a gun. Because I know people in positions like the people that are here with you today who dare to do things a little different. Because we believe when we're doing our jobs, applying rules and regulations and making decisions, it's important to remember we deal in people. Flawed, imperfect, and redeemable people. People just like us. Just like the person we were on that night we decided to drive home with a few too many drinks in our system. But for the grace of God, we didn't kill anybody and didn't get caught. People just like the bad uncle, the wayward child, the criminal cousin we may have buried a little deeper in the back of our closets, on hidden branches of our family trees. The loved ones that, although they did bad things, we still care about, despite the bad decisions and bad behavior. See, like Tavon said a minute ago, we are all just a few degrees of separation from representing here today as part of the system or having been through it. So in conclusion, while I know I can't change people's thinking and opinions overnight inside of our station or on the outside, as a police leader, what I can do, as part of the system, what I can do, on the inside, I can set policy that puts people first. I can bring and involve good people like Tiff Lowe and Jamil Alexander who work with empathy and compassion and change the landscape of our profession. I can work to help assure people get a fair shake, and I can fight to create a culture of respect. That's how I change the narrative. That's my contribution to the goal of more graduations and less funerals. That's how I look in the mirror knowing I did more than just talk and criticize other people. That's how I keep a community alive, the community that I love. That's how I keep them safe. And trust me, that can be a heavy lift at times because I recognize there's a lot of pressure pushing against all of us sitting here today, all the time. So for that, I want to commend all of my colleagues for going against the grain and choosing to be here today. You know and I know that was brave because it's not the usual course of action to participate in things like this. And to all the people on the panel who came here this afternoon, putting your scarlet letter on display for the whole world to see, for the purpose of just trying to help somebody else deal with their crossroads and make better decisions. I want to say that I love you, I appreciate you, and I'm proud of each of you. Thank you.
We love you too, man.